Namaste and welcome to all of you in this wonderful opportunity to understand the concept and dynamics of hotel management as a profession. Hotel or hospitality management as a field requires aspirants to possess good communication skills as well as an impressive personality. Due to globalization, the hotel management industry is growing by leaps and bounds. Each year, a lot of hospitality related jobs are injected into the economy. These jobs are offered not only by the Indian firms but also by the international chains of hotels. Thus, hospitality management is a fruitful field to make career in. Travel and tourism management is also a part of hospitality industry. Candidates who want to make their career in the field of travel and tourism management can pursue a career in undergraduate or postgraduate program in tourism. Apart from this, aspirants can also pursue diploma certificates in the respective fields. In order to make a future in the hotel or hospitality management, aspirants needs to pursue a course of undergraduate program in the field of Bachelors of Talking about the program of Bachelors of Hotel Management, this is 4 years full-time Bachelor Degree program comprising of 6 months of industrial training. The postgraduate program of Masters in Hotel Management is of 2 years. Eligibility and prerequisites for admissions in Bachelors of Hotel Management program is 10+2 examination in any discipline from any recognized boards with English as a compulsory subject in the qualifying examination. For Masters in Hotel Management program, graduate degree is must. Selection criteria is through all India entrance tests like NCHM, interviews, merit based on qualifying marks obtained in 10+2 examination and direct admissions. Prerequisites for this particular program to get in is good communication skills, willingness to travel and interact with people and meet customers' expectations, good grooming standards and personality, ability to work hard and possess high level of confidence. There are 4 major core areas that are being taught in the field of hotel management, that are front office, housekeeping, food production and food and beverage service. Talking about the career opportunities in the field of hotel management, after pursuing the program of Bachelors of Hotel Management, students are eligible to work as management trainee in the hotel and allied sector. Kitchen management and housekeeping management positions are also open for the students. Flight kitchen and on-board flight services as cabin crew in the Indian and international airlines are open for the students. They can work as junior commissioned officers in the Indian Armed Services. They can work as the catering officers in the government schools, as management trainee and executive in the international and national fast food chains. Hospital, industrials and institutional caterings are also welcoming the hotel management graduates. A student can work as faculty in hotel management and food craft institutes, as supervisory position in the shipping and cruise lines. They can work marketing, sales executive in hotels and other service sectors like banking are open for the students where they can work. They can work as an entrepreneur also and start up their own venture. As managerial position, the student can work in the state tourism development corporations. They can work in multinational companies and public sector units for their hospitality services. Leading hospitality chains that keeps on organizing the on-campus and off-campus interviews are Trident Group of Hotels, The Lalit, ITC Welcome Group of Hotels, Taj Group of Hotels, The Oberoi Group of Hotels, Eros Group of Hotels, Parkin, Lemon Tree, Radisson, Ramada Group of Hotels, JP Group of Hotels and JW Marriott Group of Hotels, to name a few. As the industrial training is a part of curriculum, and before sending the students for industrial training, the preferences of the students based on the location and the properties are taken by the institutions. As far as the salary and perks are concerned, there are 2-level positions which are being qualified by the students after pursuing the course of hotel management. First position is entry level position and second is management trainee level positions. Salary package for both the positions are 1,44,000 to 2,40,000 per annum is there for the entry level, and 3,60,000 to 4,80,000 per annum for management training. Besides that, salary incentives are also there. That is 36,000 to 72,000 for entry-level position and 72,000 to 1,08,000 for the management training level positions. Meals are being offered to all the staff there in the hotels on duty. Uniform and its laundry services are being offered by the hotels. And all the employees, they get the fully furnished accommodation or they are being provided the HRA by the hotels. All the staff are medically and accidental insured by the hotels. All the staff, they get the provident fund and gratuity. Hotel also provides allowances for higher educations to the candidates, those who join after the graduation. Leading institutes that are offering the program of hotel management in various parts of India are National Council for Hotel Management and Catering Technology under the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Oberoi School of Hotel Management, IHM Aurangabad, Welcome Group of Graduate School of Hotel Administration, ITC Hotels, Manipal, Indian Culinary Institute, Tirupati, and we at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow campus also provide the course of hotel management.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Martiniere Careers Fair 2021. This session is on hotel management, and our eminent expert for this session is Mr. Rahul Agarwal. And I request Abhigya to introduce him briefly to the audience today.
Mr. Rahul Agarwal is an alumnus of Martiniere College, Lucknow, batch of 1995. Sir pursued his bachelor's from the Shriram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and then went on to Symbiosis College, Pune, to pursue his master's. After establishing Livana Group, initially a real estate venture, he went on to build a chain of hotels in Lucknow. With over 2 decades of experience in the industry, Mr. Agarwal is the owner and manager of one of the most successful hotel chains in the district. Most of all, Sir is an ex-Martiniere, and we are happy to have him back.
It's an honor speaking to you guys.
So, sir, my first question to you is, could you please share with us your journey of becoming a successful entrepreneur and a hotelier?
See, our core business was always construction. We were never into hotels. Our foray into the hotels was purely by chance. We were making a commercial project in Lucknow. And then in 2008, the Lehman Brothers debacle happened. And there were no takers for that building. And by chance, we met a person. We met an ex-Martinian who was into hotels at that point of time. He was working for one of the bigger brands in the country, Ambassador Group. I met him by chance, and he gave me an idea that let's make this property into a hotel because it's at the heart of the city. And at that point of time, Lucknow had a very dearth of properties, good properties. There were hardly any properties in Lucknow. There was only Taj, and there was Piccadilly at that point of time. There was Clark's also, which was there. So there was a lot of corporate movement which was happening in Lucknow. The corporates were coming there. They were not. They didn't have the budget to stay in 5-star properties, and the other properties, most of the properties were not having. The rooms were not good. The service was not up to the mark. So we decided to make a property which was a budget property, but which had the services and the ambience of a larger branded property. So hotels, at that initially we had a lot of hiccups. I think it was a good business to be in. 7 years later, we opened our second property in Lucknow. So I would say the journey has not been bad. We have been pretty successful in our venture till now.
Thank you so much, sir, for that response. So my next question to you is, since setting up a hotel is a capital-intensive proposition and might not be for the masses, for a student interested in hotel management and hospitality, what are the various jobs they could look at?
So hotel industry is one of the most difficult industries to be in, highly dependent on manpower. There are various departments in the hotel. It's an industry which runs 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So if we tell you about the various positions in a hotel, at the helm of the industry, we have the general manager who takes care of all the operations within the hotel. The larger properties, they generally go with an operations manager or a resident manager as well after the general manager, who is responsible in case of the absence of the general manager. Apart from that, the main core departments in the hotel, one is the front office department. In the front office, you have the front office manager and the front office executives who are basically responsible for the check-in, check-out of the rooms, interacting with the guests, taking care of the needs. Then you have the housekeeping department. Housekeeping is involved with basic cleanliness of the hotel, the upkeep of the rooms. Their task is one of the most important in the hotel, because generally when there are back-to-back rooms lined up in the hotel, they get a very little time to make up the rooms and hand it over to the new client. And especially the experience, a client's experience totally depends upon the kind of service or the kind of cleanliness, hygiene levels which are there in the room. So housekeeping is one of the important departments. In that, you have the executive housekeeper, and then you have the housekeeping boys, who take care of the day-to-day operations of the hotel. Apart from that, then we have the F&B department. F&B department is again divided in two parts. We have the one is the back end, where you have the kitchen part. There we have the executive chef, followed by the sous chefs and the junior chefs, and then we have the service department. In the service, we have the F&B manager, who's the food and beverage manager. He takes care of the entire food and beverage operations within the hotel. You have the banquet manager. The banquet manager reports to the F&B manager. Banquet manager takes care of all the banqueting operations, the daily conferences, the social functions during the evening. Then you have the restaurants. A hotel may have one restaurant, two restaurants, or three restaurants, depending upon the size of the hotel. So generally, the hotels keep a restaurant manager within the restaurants. The restaurant manager is followed by the captains and the executives with the stewards, who takes care of the order. The captains take the order, the stewards deliver the orders, they pass on the orders to the kitchen. So F&B is also one of the very strong departments in the hotel. It's again service dependent. Apart from that, we have the engineering department, because hotel is an industry in itself. There's a lot of equipments, there's a lot of machinery which is within the hotel, which needs to be running 24/7. And the machinery has to be kept updated at all points of time, because if there's any failure, you don't get the time to replace it. You can't shut down the hotel. So we have the engineering department, in which you have the main engineer. Generally, hotels prefer to have the chief engineer as an electrical engineer. He is followed by normal electricians. You have a plumber on board. You have a carpenter. You have painters on board who are continuously painting the rooms, because the rooms would tend to get worn out with the uses of time. Apart from that, there are various other small positions. You have the HR manager, you have the F&B controller, you have the accounts department, where you have the main UFC unit finance controller with a series of junior finance executives, and you have the store manager, purchase manager, and you have a sales team, in which you have generally a sales manager with 2 or 3 juniors.
Thank you so much for explaining the hierarchy of hotel positions and how diversified they are. So my next question to you is, could you please elaborate on the various pros and cons of a career in such a field?
I would say there are always pros and cons in any field you go into. However, the pros in a hotel industry are much more than the cons. You do not require degrees, you don't require a number of degrees to be a part of the hotel. You need to start from the bottom. So a less qualified person can also be a part of the hotel. You tend to meet new people from all over the world. You get to learn a lot of new things which are there. The learning opportunities are tremendous. And pre-COVID, I would say the salaries in a hotel were very good also. As regards to the cons are that the timings, the working hours are very high. You don't tend to get holidays even during your festivals, because you have to be present there. The hotels are operational even during the Holi, Diwali, Eid, Bakrid, every time, Christmas. The hotels are always operational. And there's a lot of physical labor which is required in the hotel.
Thank you so much, sir, for that response. So my next question to you is, are the jobs in the hotel and hospitality industry stable?
I would say pre-COVID, the jobs were pretty stable. But during the COVID times, I feel that this industry has been most badly hit. It's still taking time to recover. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people were asked not to rejoin. And still, there is a lot of pay cuts which are happening during these times. Most of the hotels are doing pay cuts.
So, sir, my next question to you is, hypothetically, After my graduation from a premier hotel management institute, what is the starting salary package that I may expect?
Salary packages, the salaries generally, I would say, Arnav, that in a hotel industry, a person always starts from the bottom. If you want to grow up in the industry, you will need to start from the bottom. You need to learn the nuances. You need to gain experience to rise up in the hotel. So normally, if you're looking into the F&B department, you generally start as an executive or as a captain, and then rise to a restaurant manager, then into a banquet manager, then to an F&B manager, and the opportunities after that is a resident manager, operation manager, or the general manager. Similarly, it's the front office executive, and then you go into becoming a front office manager, and so on and so forth. So I would say the initial salaries are not very good. In a tier 2 city like Lucknow, tier 2, tier 3 cities, the starting salaries would be somewhere around 1 lakh 80, 2 lakh rupees CTC per annum. And a tier 1 city, a metropolitan city, the starting packages would be approximately around 2.4 to 3 lakh rupees per annum. But as you move up the ladder, the salaries definitely keep on increasing and improving.
Thank you so much, sir, for that response. So my next question is a question that has already been touched by you. But my question is that is it necessary to earn a master's degree in hotel management for subsequent promotions in my career, or a bachelor's degree with appropriate skills and good work ethics suffice?
So a bachelor's degree is more than enough for a hotel because you need to start from the bottom. And it's your skills which are going to matter the most. It's your interpersonal skills, it's your communication skills, how you interact with the customers. That makes a lot of difference. So you tend to rise up the ladder with your experience and with the passage of time. However, I would still say that it's always better to do a master's degree after having a few years of experience in the industry. This will help you in your career growth. It will help you in rising to the higher positions within the hotels, a general manager, or within the management of the hotel.
So our last question comes from a boy in class 7th. He says, "Sir, I love to cook and aspire to become a chef, but my parents seem to have an aversion to this idea and want to push me into more traditional career pathways. So what is your advice for my parents and myself?"
See, I'll say gone are the days when the chefs were known as the cooks or the khansamas. Today, chefs are an artist. The F&B, the chef's position, they are one of the backbones of the industry. A good food can help you make the hotel or break the hotel. People come to the hotel for an experience. You get food all over the. You can get food at a roadside dhaba. You can get food in the at any restaurants. But generally in the hotels, people come for the experience. The chefs today, they're experimenting. You have the master chef which is coming up there. The chefs are known as celebrities, I'll say today. They have their own culinary schools. Most of the chefs have become consultants today. They are guiding the hotels. They're having their own set of restaurants. People who are into people aspire to become a Michelin star chef today. So I would say that one should pursue their dreams. If they want to become, if they're interested in the field of cooking, they should definitely aspire to become a celebrated chef.
Thank you so much, sir. That was our last question. On behalf of Martiniere College, and we extend our heartiest gratitude to you for sparing your valuable time to speak with the boys of our college and their parents. We are sure that your inspiring journey and your words of wisdom would have left an everlasting impact on our audience today. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your time. Vive Martiniere.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, boys.
Thank you so much, sir.
This session is on travel and tourism, and our eminent expert for this session is Mr. Prateek Hira, and I request Abhigya to introduce him.
Mr. Prateek Hira has 27 years of first-hand experience in tourism. He is the founder, president, and CEO of Tornos, an experiential tour company established in 1994, and possibly the first company to start walking tours in India that have been highly recommended by international magazines. His other companies are Gastrouts, that specializes in food travel to India, Indian frontiers that caters to the theme of British in India, and more recently, he has co-founded River Rhapsody, a company that specializes in river-based tours luxury camping, and riverside entertainment. Mr. Prateek is also a tourism researcher and a teacher of tourism, being associated with many universities in India and abroad, and has many tourism researches to his credit, including many published works and papers. Mr. Prateek is the chapter chairman of Indian Association of Tour Operators and the chair tourism committee of FICCI's UP State Council and is a member of FICCI's National Committee on Tourism and Hospitality. It is our pleasure to welcome you, sir, today.
Thank you, Arnav.
Hello, sir. My first question to you is, what inspired you to take up a career in travel and tourism?
Yeah, inspiration actually, what happens is, this is my personal feeling that whenever you're making a career or deciding on what career to make, so it comes from the very early stage. So this is probably the stage when you're in class 9 or 8 or 7, when you see things around you. And there, in my time, of course, there was a limitation of careers that one would sort of get into. So tourism was quite unknown. There is still a little knowledge about the hotel management, and people rarely in those times knew about tourism. There weren't any degree courses in tourism. But somehow, somewhere I got into it because of my interest. So it was what inspired me, if you say, that I was kind of a man or a young boy who, at that point of time, when I was studying in school in Martiniere, Lucknow, probably, things were not the way they are today. Even going to restaurants was rare. Going to hotels, staying at the hotels was rare. My father worked for the Indian Railways. My mother was working for the state government. And we traveled a lot because of this association of my father and mother. But mind you, it was almost free travel because my father got free passes on the train to travel. So I never traveled on a flight at that point of time. And I never stayed in a hotel, or even if we did stay in a hotel, it was because usually it was limited to the guest houses which are by the state government or by the Indian Railways, where we sort of stayed. But these luxury properties, hotels, they were not only glamour for me, but they attracted me. Traveling by air, and so these were the things, or eating nice food in restaurants and seeing that lifestyle. Now these were forbidden, mind you, at that point of time. So when I grew up, I decided that I will go in for the hotel management. So I went in for the hotel management. Somehow, very early, I think within 3 or 4 days of joining the institution, I sort of dropped out of it, and then I went on to doing my economic honors and a bachelor's degree program, which has nothing to do with this career. But then in my post-graduation, I sort of again went into the tourism management, which was the postgraduate program from IITTM, which was at that point of time, and still is, one of the most premier institutions to teach you travel, tourism, and hospitality. So that's what had it. And then I would meet these people, like meeting the general managers of the deluxe hotels. And in class 8, when I was there, so I would walk into Oberoi's, Taj, and I would just get that feel of sitting in the lobby, meeting the general manager, talking to them about the career, what kind of career I can make in this industry. So that's how I sort of, the inspiration came. But there was no one in my family who was even remotely connected to hotel management or tourism management or travel management, whatever. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for that response. So my next question to you is, what are the popular courses in travel and tourism?
There have been many courses, including your certificate courses, which are short-term courses. You have a diploma course, you have a post-graduation level courses, you have master's degree, which is called the BTA, Bachelor of Tourism Administration, and then you have MTA, which is the Masters of Tourism Administration, and then you have PhD in tourism as well. So most of the universities, the leading universities, have a course. Foreign universities have specialized courses, and of course, the IIT TMS is still offering the course, which is through a combined entrance test, which is based on all India basis, and they have a few centers in Gwalior, in Noida, and Chennai, and different places. So that way you get into this course, but it is you have all these options to choose from, and then there are small certificate courses specializing in certain specific niche domains of travel. So it could be rivers, for example, or it could be food tourism, for example. So the meaning is much more wider than it ever was in terms of. So you just can't today. You cannot say blindly that I am into tourism. So that also has specialized core areas where you want to get into that, and then there are specializations in your, at least in your master's degree program.
Thank you, sir, for outlining the courses in tourism and telling us the importance of specialization. So my next question to you is formal education necessary to make a career in travel and tourism?
Yes, I think, what happens is that whenever we talk about the education system in our vocational, I mean, I'll call it a vocational course, which gets you an employment or helps you become an entrepreneur, whatever. So what help does do such courses provide to a student who is joining? Because it's a vast study, so don't expect that when you join a course, it's unlike your, even I would say, why unlike it? It can be like your course in doing an MBBS and then going in for your surgery specialization. Unless you have hands-on on operating someone's stomach, you can't just after your MS or MBBS, you just can't flip open the stomach and say that, okay, I can operate my stomach on. So similarly, in such vocational courses, it is very important that you study the course, you get the nuances, and then you go in for your specialization, which can be based on your own interest. Unless you have interest in such vocational courses, you may not be successful at a later stage. So the point here is that, of course, there are. I think that your question reflects on the fact that each country will have its own visa system, its own, and more so now during the COVID times, they have their own rules to get into it, get out of it, and the quarantine requirements and all those things. So how do you study all this? Of course, you don't study everything specifically when you are talking about product. So you are not studying everything that's there in India or that's there in the UK or Europe, for example. But what you are getting to know in such courses is that how to go about it, how to plan things effectively, how to get to the level where you can do kind of flawless itineraries for your customers, how you can do the best fares for your customers, how you can work out the best fares for your customers, what is the route of getting the visa, what are the requirements of them. These are all clubbed with your practical experience that comes. And so that is why in all these courses, internship is a major part of all these courses. So one entire semester goes into, almost a semester goes into internship and the project reports in terms of research projects and all those things that you do. So to say that it is a very specialized area, you need to study also to connect with the rest in the industry. How do you know that what are the case studies of the companies that have excelled? You will only know when you get enrolled in a course, and then you get a kind of a bridge, you get a kind of a road or a path to develop yourself and excel in the area that you specialize. It's only during the course that I realized that food tourism is I knew nothing about food tourism. I didn't know that food tourism, anything like food tourism exists. Or you may not be knowing that there's something like wine tourism which is existing. We might just be thinking that it's only about the history, who built Taj Mahal and who built the Palace of Versailles, or who built La Martiniere, for example. So, but no, it's not restricted to that. There are specialized courses, maybe golf tourism. It's a huge domain which one can specialize in. And even within history, there are periods like you introduced, when you were introducing me, you spoke about one of my companies which specializes in a particular period of history, British history, not the entire period of the British history in India. So that's a kind of a core or micro specializations that have come into tourism. But mind you, courses are very, very important.
Thank you so much, sir, for that response. What are the various avenues and job profiles that are present in this industry?
Arnav, I would say that they have expanded, only expanded, because there were limitations with the job profiles that one would get into. They would work for travel agencies, airlines, or tour operators, or even hotels. But it has expanded now. You see all these online travel agents coming in, like Make My Trip and Go Vivo and all these. So these are IT based companies, purely IT based companies. They hire tourism experts or people from tourism background for their technical input. So it's IT plus tourism combined together. So that's one part of it. And then probably in terms of job prospects, it's not only restricted to hotels. It's not only restricted to airlines. There are international airlines, domestic airlines. There are small charter companies that give you helicopters and small jets or family jets with charter. There are, as I said, walk leaders who lead the walking tours of these. There are guides who do your treks or who take you into the past, and experiential guides who take you into the history of a particular place. There are researchers, there are itinerary, there's huge amount of background work that goes on. So you land up with jobs at tour operators, you land up with OTAs, which is online travel companies, airlines, both domestic and international, hotels, and even now hospitals as well, because there's a huge domain of medical tourism which is already taking shape in India. So there are hospitals like Apollo and Medanta and so many other hospitals who have a separate department of medical tourism, where specialists in tourism kind of collaboratively work with the specialist in the medical field, and probably they come up with programs for medical tourism where people come for their treatment to India, because India, it's a very kind of a cheap destination in terms of it's not cheap is the wrong word, actually. It's a value for money destination for your medical ailments, for your operations that people come. So a simple surgery like cataract is very, very expensive in the West, in the US, or in Europe, or in the UK. So the better way is that the amount that they are spending there, they can as well come here into India, fly into India, get the cataract operation done within that 1 or 2 day frame, 1 day, in fact, few hours, and then with the new renewed eyes, they can see our country. So that's medical tourism. So where family can come and get their elderly people operated, or so that's a huge business for that's another area where you are. So there's no limitation, I would say. There are television channels that do programs like NDTV food or travel and living, and people have a friend of mine who is from Lucknow, Ranveer Barar, if you know him, as a chef, a celebrity chef. So he's not a pure chef, he's rather more of a presenter. So he did his hotel management, he did his degree, and then he chose to be a presenter of things, a television host, making documentaries or speaking to people. So that's the kind of penetration that tourism has today. So it will be wrong for me to say that these are the specific areas, but the canvas is huge. It's wide, really wide.
Thank you so much, sir, for telling us about the malleability and the diversification of the field of tourism. My final question to you is, what is your advice to our boys seeking to make a career in travel and tourism?
Yeah, as boys, there are certain traits that you require or you have to develop. So things like, you have interpersonal skills, you can equip yourself with foreign language, maybe, the huge Spanish inflow. There was a time when there was a huge Chinese inflow, and you'll be surprised that the Chinese guides were the best paid people of our industry at one point of time because of the dearth of the Mandarin speaking guides. And China had taken the scene of tourism everywhere by storm, like US, everywhere in the clusters. So you could see in Europe and in France and in the US that everywhere you could see Chinese. So similarly, there are many other traditional countries that you have. So interpersonal skill is one thing which is very, very important. You usually, boys of Le Martiniere, I'm happy to say that each of you have that kind of skills which are required for travel and tourism. It's only honing those sort of, brushing those things up. And then, of course, you should be a little caring kind of a person who wants to serve others. Boys should not come with a big ego, and I'm happy that boys of Le Martiniere don't have that, because the system of education, your system of teaching, is such that you first flush out your ego and then you start coming, if comparing with other educational institutions in the city. So which is very good, So, and then there is no, it's a very democratic kind of personality that one should have. And all these, and you should always, like both of you are looking so good and nice. And it's so pleasant to see both of you so well dressed and so nicely turned up. So these are the things that are required, for tourism. So you either have these, and most of these you have, and you just have to develop a bit, and then a bit of knowledge of geography. So when I'm telling you about geography, it is not about specific longitudes and latitudes and all those things that the technical jargon that you study in geography as a students, but a basic idea of maps, where a particular country is located, in which hemisphere, how do you go, the shortest distance, the seas, the continents, the countries, the capitals, the currency. These are some, you call it geography or you call it general knowledge or whatever, which comes by virtue of overall education, just being attentive. You don't need to be a super marks gainer kind of, boy or a girl when you have to make a career in travel and tourism, but it is all about your reflexes as well, which are tested, that in a particular problem, in a situation, how quick and how effectively you respond, and you get the best thing for your guest, who's a tourist, of course, your client. So these are the things basically that one can develop, and so yeah, but there are many things, so even IT skill is now important. Social media is a big thing, so you need to be all your generation boys and girls are, but still you have to be a little specific in terms of your social media skills, that how to sell the products, how to market yourself on social media, because it's a huge marketplace, and people are driven by social media as influencers. So I forgot to tell you when I was telling you about the careers, that there are travel writers as well. There are travel journalists who write about tourism. There are travel influencers who influence your decision on travel, where to travel, when to travel, where to stay. So they are called travel influencers. So these are some new domains as well. So you can brush up your skills depending on what area you want to specialize in, where you want to go. Accordingly, you can set yourself.
Thank you, sir, for that advice. On behalf of Martiniere College, sir, we extend our heartiest gratitude to you for sparing your valuable time to speak with the boys of the college and their parents. We are sure that your inspiring journey and your words of wisdom would have left an everlasting impact on our audience. We hope to see you soon once the pandemic situation eases. Vive le Martiniere.
Vive le Martiniere.